Hello everyone, and welcome back to Warships Blitz with Terry. Today we are looking at, and I'm really going to try and pronounce this correctly this time, the Ognevoy, which is Russian for, I think, fire, from what I've been looking up. So, a new destroyer line actually in the tech tree. We'll have a very quick look at the Russian and Soviet tech tree. We see that after the Minsk at tier 7, the Ognevoy is coming up in tier 8, and presumably we'll get a tier 9 and 10 at some point as well. Maybe. I don't know. We'll find out. But this is a Russian-Soviet, well, Soviet really, torpedo boat destroyer. Now these things sort of existed. This was a series of destroyers that was built, or started to be built, to be a successor of the Project 7, the Gnevny class. And this was the Project 30. Now, the Ognevoy was, I think, one of the first two to be built, and then they found out that they had to do some improvements. So they came up with a successor for that as well, which was the rest of the class, more or less, which was a slightly different variant. But they didn't quite finish because, you know, the Germans interrupted them, rudely, so to speak. And I think in the end she was still completed and was scrapped somewhere around in the 1960s, but I haven't really found a huge amount of details on this ship. But definitely one of the ships that actually existed. Now, how is this different? So, if you're not familiar with the Soviet destroyer line, the Soviet destroyers have very good guns and are usually pretty quick. But the torpedoes have a very short range. So, for example, if we look at the Tashkent, the other destroyer line Soviet ship here, she does 39 knots out of the box. And this isn't even upgraded or anything. And she's got 630mm guns, and the torpedoes have a range of 4.5 kilometers. With a base surface detection of almost 7 kilometers. So this is more like a light cruiser with short-range torpedoes than a destroyer. The Ognevoy is not like that at all. So let's go and look through the stats. She does have 16,000 hit points compared to the Tashkent's 16,000, which is not even upgraded yet. So she's not quite as sturdy as the Tashkent. The same goes for armor and similar things. She is reasonably quick still with 36 knots base speed. Turn time isn't grand, 3.9 seconds, but it's workable. The guns are interesting. So I think we've talked about them with the, what was she called? There was a thing here, the Gremiashi, the premium tier 6 thing. It's the B2U universal turrets. So these are the dual purpose guns that were introduced, and it's not the same as the Tashkent's B2LM guns. Historically, I don't think the Ognevoy actually had these. But, well, we'll see in a second why that is done, I think. And she gets 4 guns, 2 turrets, 1 fore and 1 aft. And these are very, very good guns. They hit really hard. I mean, they're doing almost 500 points of damage on the armor piercing for 130mm. That is a pretty decent amount of damage. So we compare that, for example, to the Minsk, and she gets she gets older guns. Okay, though she's not completely upgraded. We'll do some comparisons in a minute, because we have the new comparison system now, but we'll get to that. They hit very hard. They have excellent high explosive shells with a 4.5% fire chance, and they rotate very quickly with 30 degrees per second on the Ognevoy. The torpedoes, we get 2 quintuple launchers, and they have a range of 7.8 kilometers. So that is a very, very workable torpedo range. The AA isn't completely terrible, with 66 and 63, and a pretty good range on the large caliber. And this is, I think, why she gets the B2U turrets, because these were meant to be dual purpose. So the large caliber AA is probably coming from these turrets. And I've got the surface detection down to 5.4 kilometers. So comparison, if you haven't seen it yet, this little weighing scale down here lets us compare ships. And I'm comparing the Ognevoy actually to the Benson, because these ships are reasonably similar. Let's have a very quick look at the stats. And you can see it kind of on this graph here, but the actual numerical statistics are much more interesting. But what you see here is that the Ognevoy has 3 engine boosts, 2 defensive AA and 2 smokes. And the Benson has 3 engine boosts, 2 smokes and 2 defensive AA. Only that the Ognevoy gets better engine boost and better defensive AA. So let's look at the stats. This will compare the ships fully built up. So they are almost on par on hit points. Ognevoy is a little bit sturdier than the Benson, but the Benson has more armor. The Ognevoy is faster, but the Benson is definitely more on the maneuverable side for all stats considered. In terms of guns, the Benson obviously being an American gunboat, well, the Americans don't really have that split, but generally are pretty good on the guns. She gets a 3.6 reload with 5 guns, whereas the Ognevoy has to deal with a 5-second reload on 4 guns. But a kilometer more range and definitely more oomph behind the guns and a better turret traverse on that Soviet destroyer, which is not something you're necessarily used to. The torpedo boats, the torpedoes on this, it's very slightly faster reload on the Ognevoy and better range, whereas the Benson's torpedoes hit harder and have a much better chance of flooding. But a 6.9 kilometer range isn't all that much when we're coming down to the concealment in a second. So we get almost a kilometer more range on the Ognevoy's torpedoes. AA-wise, the Benson is still ahead, I would say in general, with 106 base large caliber AA, but the Ognevoy gets a better defensive AA. So that counts for something as well. So this isn't a Friesland. You can't stand on your own, but you can definitely shoot down a plane or two with the anti-air active. And the base concealment on the Ognevoy is 6 kilometers, and the Benson's base concealment is 6.118 with a 6.9 kilometer range torpedoes. It's reasonably difficult for the Benson probably to do stealth torping, unless you go on for a full concealment build, which you probably would do. I haven't played the Benson, so I can't really say, but you have a much more comfortable margin in this Soviet destroyer. So this ship is very similar to the Benson and very not similar to the Tashkent, which I also haven't played, but I have played the Minsk quite a bit. Right, so what do we have? We've looked at the ship skills already, so we do get the engine boost 2, the defensive AA 2, and we get 2 smoke screens. I have put the main battery mod 2 in here to get better reload, because the turret traverse is fine. And, well, there's not really much else you could do. You could boost the AA range, but they're not dedicated AA ships. So I figured, given that I only have 2 turrets, I might as well do a little bit about the reload. Because while you might be thinking initially that, okay, well, it's a stealth torpedoboat, you wouldn't be using the guns all that much. Don't underestimate the guns on this thing. These are good guns, and they have a good range, and they hit hard. You just don't have that many of them. Propulsion in slot 2 is generally recommended for destroyers, and I actually have a concealment build with the concealment system because it's a multi-purpose ship. It is extremely comfortable being in the open, guns blazing, and it is extremely comfortable stealth torping. So this is an excellent boat for both purposes. You could do the steering gear mod 2 if you wanted to go full-on gunboating and just long range use your guns, but then you might as well play it to Tashkent if you want to do that. So I personally find the concealment mod to be fitting this build a lot better. The elite bonus, you can improve the guns, or you can improve the torpedoes, which gives you a bit better reload time and traverse speed on the torpedo tubes. It really doesn't matter. I think for me, the split in terms of you'd be using both to an equal extent. So choose whatever you prefer. I don't think it matters very much which one you take because they're both good. And you'd be, at least the way I'm playing her, I'm definitely using the guns as much as I'm using the torpedoes. All right, Commander. Now here it gets a little interesting because we are going to have to build them slightly differently. So underwater protection, I have the battlefield support for an additional defensive AA. You don't have to. You can take the torpedo alert. Preheating, obviously. Air defense expert is something you probably want on this ship. Daredevil and exploit weakness, just in case I find things that are on fire or flooding. They're fully prepared here because it's the only thing that makes sense. And the Mistweaver is, again, definitely a skill that you would want to have at tier 8 in a destroyer that has smokes. Because they are only smokes ones and they don't last all that long. So you get a bit longer lasting smoke with this skill. All right, let's look at the camouflage. Historical camo, what does it give us? It gives us main battery firing range, which it really, again, tells us that this is a multi-purpose ship, because we also get the torpedo range. And we do get max traverse and surface detection. So this is an all-around excellent camouflage if you want to keep this destroyer around. Of course, we're going to play with seaborne assault, but this, once again, tells us that this is not a pure torpedo boat or a pure gunboat. This is an all-rounder and an excellent one at that. All right. Anything else we need to look at? Battle honors. Let's have a quick look. We need to win 15 battles. So as you can see, I haven't had much time to actually play the Ognevoy. So I'm playing this with, I think, just two battles under my belt, which is unusual, but because of the amount of bugs that came out with the 4.2 release, I really didn't have any time to actually record any footage, and I did want to get out a review for you this week. So this is a slightly early review, but take it with a grain of salt, maybe. It's an early impression. You have to destroy 45 ships, you have to capture 45 times, and you cause a grand total of 1.2 million points of damage, which is, reasonably easy. So all the way straightforward things to do. So for now, let's put the camo on, and let's actually, get into a battle. So you literally getting to see the first 2 actual battles I've been playing with the ship, besides a bunch of games against bots to figure out my configuration and just do a couple of testing rounds. In the first one, we are top tier. What do we got? Amagi, Nagato, Colorado, York, Kagero, Benson, and Shiratsuyu. Okay. And we're playing Domination, which is nice. I think Deadlock was the one with a really nice edge in the Eastern Cup, but not 100% sure I'll remember that correctly. But let's see what we're coming up with here. That was the map. So that little island over in Sea Cup is a really nice position for anything, really, to get into cover and, hold them back, really. So that's where we're going to go. Engines full ahead, and I'm switching over to the armor piercing just in case we're hitting destroyers. But don't discount the high explosives. They are pretty good as well. 42 knots is not the usual monstrous speed that you're kind of used to from Soviet destroyers, but it's still not slow, really. And with the right skills, the engine boosts lasting for a long time, so you can definitely make use of it. So we want to be in that cup. Oh, we've spotted something, and we're already collecting team scores. So first spot, and we're starting to capture C. Now let's keep an eye on the capture progress of C to check if there's any enemy destroyers in here. So we're getting a capture assist, and we're not fully capturing. So one of the destroyers is inside C because the battleship isn't, and I can see it. That's the Amagi over there, and there's something else. So there's a destroyer right about there-ish. So I'm just kind of warning my team, saying, "Oi guys, watch out, there's someone in there," because I haven't completed the cap. So now one of ours comes in, and now we're getting the capture assist because we are now 2 ships to 1. And there's the Shiratsuyu. Okay, seen him. All right then, so we're not spotted. So we may as well start dropping torpedoes onto that bunch over there. What we got? Colorado, where's he going? Let's just kind of use our indicator and keep a little bit of an eye on. Is he stopping? Is he slowing down? Okay, I got spotted. That was probably the Colorado because I, for some reason. So let's open up on him then. I still have the armor piercing loaded, I think. I do need to switch over to the high explosive. Yeah, that's the wrong ammunition type. There we go. I've got some torpedoes on the way, just into that polk of battleships there. So I'm really not afraid to use my guns while my torpedoes are on reload. And I do have plenty of support coming up behind me here. So, but we will need to move more towards the center after this, because I think the rest of our team is there. But yeah, a bunch of 2 torpedo hits. Okay, I'll take it. Oh, torpedoes coming in from the Shiratsuyu. Yeah, I'll switch on the engine boost and just ignore them, because he's probably aimed down the line. Yeah, there we go. Okay, and we've got 3 battleships there, and we've got a bunch of cruisers. Pretty much all our team is over here. So I just keep ignoring the Shiratsuyu over there for now. And just want to loop around and get behind that island. I mean, there's cruisers behind there, right? But you can deal with this thing. Shoot at him. There. There you go. I set him on fire. Now shoot at this thing. Boink. There you go. Okay. So someone's going to shoot at the Shiratsuyu. There's plenty of people back there. Okay, we've lost the Amalfi because he didn't shoot at the Shiratsuyu, but it was the Amagi that took him out. But now we're behind them and have looped around the island. So we're just going to... You see, in a standard Soviet destroyer, you would have to rush. I mean, I could have rushed the Colorado, but the Colorado obviously seen me, so I can just smoke up. And I could have done the same thing in a Tashkent as well, but I can just smoke up. And now he can't see me, so I can just sit back and wait for him to make his turn and see where exactly he's landing. Because the torpedoes don't do a massive amount of damage, you do kind of need to get them on target. So it's a half-health Colorado, but we should be able to get that sunk. Yeah, but we've needed 8 out of 10 torpedoes to do it. Alright, now we're sitting in the smoke, and our team seems to have captured A, which means we have a good crossfire going into the middle. But there is... they've lost 2 ships, and we've lost 1 ship so far. So there's definitely still a fight going on. Alright then, torpedoes are about reloaded-ish. So I'm just sitting here, lobbing shells at the Nagato, trying to set fires. You're not a 100% gunboat, but just don't not use your guns, if you know what I mean. they are very good guns, and you can entertain yourself while you're waiting for the torps to reload. Okay, torps are on reload. Amagi and Nagato. Where are you two going? Let's see. Okay, so Nagato has definitely seen me, so we'll just stop using our guns, and now we're no longer spotted. This is again one of the things that you can do in the ship that is not as easy to do in a in a standard Soviet gunboat. And now I can just, stay hidden. I'll drop these torpedoes onto these 2 guys. And they're still trying to shoot at me, I think. So I'm going to smoke up again and start lighting them up over there. So this is, like I said, a very, very good all-round boat. You can do, that should be the end of the Amagi. You can do all kinds of things, depending on what the situation requires. And I think we still got 2 torpedoes on the Nagato. 1, 2. Yeah, there we go. No, so you know what I mean. It's you can just generally do whatever is necessary at the moment, and you can use your smokes to great effect. Let's see if we can catch the Benson over there. I think I need to lead a little bit more. I'm quite high gun arcs here. But yeah, she's a very good all-rounder. You can use your smokes. You can use your torpedoes at stealth if the situation requires it. I haven't been able to actually play against a carrier in this ship, I think, because at least not against the real one, because so I couldn't really try out the defensive AA too much. But this is a very powerful ship, and much more playing like a standard destroyer. I would say she's easier to play than the standard line. But let's get into a second battle, because I did play 2. And we are on Haunted Seas. Again, top tier, up against North Carolina, Double Bismarck, Colorado. Oh, there's a Tashkent and an Aki. Okay, so Akizuki, obviously, gunboat destroyer on the Japanese line. It'll be interesting to see how these 2 match up, because both tier 8. And I think the Akizuki is quite a bit better than the Shiratsuyu at tier 7. So let's see where we are. Okay, we're spawning around Sea Cap, so that's where we're going to head. And then we'll just defend, because we have all the tools on our disposal to do that. So full speed ahead, switch over to armor piercing in case we're running into destroyers. And I'm going to go switch on the engine boost and get up to 42 knots. Alright then. Usually there is something coming around that island. Not that one, but the island behind that one with the yellow spire on it. So this gap here is usually where you see the enemy team approaching. So just heading off. I do have a cruiser and a destroyer and a battleship with me, so nothing to be scared of. There's support. That's always good to see. And yeah, with the 7.8 kilometer range, I can actually drop. Just drop some torpedoes in this area and see if anything is coming slowly and carefully around. But we are in the cup, and so is someone else. So I might have had to drop a little bit earlier because, oh no, it's, okay, Takao is coming. And there might be a destroyer here. Yeah, there's a destroyer in here as well because it's Takao and something else because I'm losing the cup right now. So one of the destroyers is over here. And we've got Takao and we've got the battleship, which means it's destroyer cruiser battleship versus destroyer cruiser battleship. All right, let's see what we can do. Now, Takao obviously having long range torpedoes. So I'm just sitting behind the island and waiting for the torpedoes to pass by. There comes one of them. There's the Bismarck. And my torpedoes are almost reloaded, so I can drop the Bismarck if he shows up. Can I drop the Takao? No, he's gonna go behind the islands over there. There comes the second spread from the Takao, so there's no real reason for me to drop my torpedoes in that way. He's never gonna hit. Takao is a little bit Roma's problem, who's sitting behind me here. There's Aki. Okay, now let's start shooting it. Start lighting up Aki. Okay, Aki panics, drops smoke, probably drop torpedoes, but there's also Bismarck coming. And Bismarck might be slowing down. Yeah, I think he's slowing down. So, okay, yep, there come the Architorps. That's why you don't sit broadside in your smoke. Because you do need to dodge torps occasionally. Back to the high explosive and see if we can score some hits. If Aki stays in his smoke, he's probably dead. I'm not sure where he's going, if he's going in front of Bismarck. But I think he... Oh, he just dodged. Oh, that would have been so nice. Okay, well... I didn't have angles to drop any deeper, I think. So, lucky you two there, that you've seen this coming. Now I'm being shot at by the Akizuki and the Bismarck. So now it's time to get behind the island again. And there's also the Takao back behind me, so they're all shooting at me right now, which is fine. So now we're just going to stop shooting our guns and go stealth again. Because once again, this is something you can do. Some more Takao shots coming in. And I do want to have this cup, but I do need a second ship in here. Actually, there are 2 of the enemy, so we're going to need 3 in there. Oh, there's Yaki again. Hello. Okay. He's poking his nose out, so he's getting shot at. And let's see where he goes. No, he's going forward. See, where these torpedoes were probably a Takao drop. Aki's smoking up. So once more, yep, there come the Aki torps. That's why I'm moving backwards. And now if I stop shooting my guns, actually, even if I don't, I should go undetected. Yep, there we go. Because the Aki's in the smoke, he can't see me. No, I'm still detected. Yeah, now I'm undetected. The Aki's in the smoke, he can't see me. The Takao is behind the island, he can't see me. And the Bismarck's behind that island, he can't see me either. So now I'm just going to wait for the Aki smoke to expire. And then I'm going to plant myself next to him, put on my own smoke, and start lighting him up. Meanwhile, dropping the Bismarck in the background. There he is. Okay. So now it's my turn. And you are spotted. So, smoke up, and he keeps shooting, which means he remains spotted, and I just need to shoot at him. There might be some more torpedoes in the water, obviously. I'm not sure if the Aki gets a torpedo reload boost, but I think she does. So we're going to keep the ship nice and angled. And even though the Aki probably outguns us, if we're a little bit smart about it, there they come. They're a little bit smart about it, and that should not be an issue. There we go. Then we can definitely take her on, you know. Because we have things like positioning and smokes and actually hard-hitting main guns, if I can actually get all 4 on target. And then we're just playing with the speed a little bit and make sure that the Aki is... Yeah, now he's found the range, so we're going to go forward again. But he's not going to survive very long, because I've almost got him. I think one more salvo will do, and then the Roma takes him out. So this is a little bit of a theme in this video. But now we have, I think another battleship has joined us here. So we've got the Bismarck taken care of. We've got, I'm already up to 300 team points from all the capture assist. So I'm no longer needed here. These people can take care of the Takao. And I'm just going to head over to the rest of the 2 caps. Because while we are on head-on points, we are just about ahead on points. Because we haven't really held caps for very much. Which means I am going to have to get myself over towards a cap. There's one of our destroyers with a battleship, but this can go either way, obviously. Depends on if he knows what he's doing. And I think the 2 battleships that are in C cap right now, yep, there comes Roma takes out the Takao. The 2 battleships over there might not be back in the battle anymore. So if our destroyer dies and that battleship down there dies, then things might still look interesting. But I mean, we're 4 kills to 1 ahead. And the Kagero goes on the North Carolina. Beautiful drive-by, well done. Now the Kagero can just cap A, and I think that's game at this point. So now we're just mopping up. That's a quick compliment for that. That was very well done. Yeah, so the Ognevoy is, I think, a very, very good ship. She's a lot easier to play than the Soviet mainline gunboats. She is a multi-role ship. She's good for all kinds of situations. I haven't really had a chance yet to try out the anti-air, but I have shot down a couple of bot planes, so it's not terrible. See if we can still get some torps in on the Bismarck here. But yeah, it's a good ship, and I think if you are struggling with the Soviet line and you've kind of made it up to Minsk and you're like, nah, this is really not for me, the gunboat play style. Torpedoes almost on target, and the Roma takes them out. I told you it was going to be a topic in this battle. Right, yeah. So if you're struggling with the Soviet gunboat destroyers and they need a particular playstyle to be successful, then this is a good alternative. And I would say she is probably on par with, let's say, the Benson. Very, very similar ship. And at least on par with the Benson, which is not a bad thing to have. So there we go. Roma takes the cake, and what we did 300 team points from all the capture efforts that we had. So it's definitely worth it. Let's see where we come out in the team. And ignore that defeat up top there. I was trying the Colbert at the same time because I had to rush a bit. Yeah, we came and thrown it in team. Plenty of things, and you see, like, we did about the same amount of damage with the guns as we did with the torpedoes. So I really see this as a 50-50 kind of distribution between guns and torps. It's not that you can't use your guns at all. They are very good guns and they're fun to play, but you're not a pure gunboat, and you can't easily take on things like Tashkents, for example, or cruisers with those guns. But they're definitely useful to just pass the time while you're waiting for the torps to reload. So, all-around good ship in my opinion, at least from the first 2 battles that I've played, plus a bunch of bot battles for research purposes to figure out. That's it for me today. Thanks everybody, have a good week still, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.